Hey guys, I'm going to wrap this project up with a final few pointers. One thing I did to increase the safety of this radio is I added a fuse. I could find a convenient spot here where there had been a solid wire off the AC switch, and I just put it on a little pigtail, a half-amp fuse like these. Sure, it's not too convenient to get it if I ever have to replace it, but I don't plan on having to replace that too often, hopefully not ever. You could also drill a hole in the back and put in a fuse holder like this where you can unscrew it and put a new fuse in, but I don't want to ruin the existing look of it. And yeah, but it's a good idea to add one just in case something does short out, to add some protection. So the wiring, like this cord, doesn't catch on fire if there's an excessive load. Then about all that's left is the case itself. It was pretty clean to begin with, but I did use a little bit of Novus #1 plastic cleaner and polisher. Spray a little bit on the surface and buff it out with a nice clean cloth like this micro cloth here, and you get a nice clean surface. Another thing was the knobs. The pointer knob had a felt backing, but the other two knobs didn't. And as indicated on the original parts list here, they actually do say felt washer knob. So I decided to put some on. And it's a good idea in general, whether the parts list has it or not. Otherwise, when the knobs rotate, they can scratch the underlying surface, and that's not so nice. I bought some commercial felt washers for other projects. They're too big for this, and I really don't want to ruin these because I bought them for some other radios, so I decided to make my own. A while back I bought some of this felt backing like you'd see on the bottom of a vase or a trophy or something. It's got an adhesive backing, and then it's just a nice felt surface. And I just used a hole punch to punch out the centers, and then used some scissors to cut out the circles, and came out like that. Not perfect, but certainly better than nothing. So I'm going to slide this back together and give you one final look at the finished product. Alright, here's the radio all back together, playing nicely. Got the knobs back on. I was careful to note when I put this dial pointer on that it was pointing to the correct frequency on the station, so as I tune this around, it's right. And when I put on the two screws that hold the back cover on, I noticed that the old ones were pretty rusty. So I pulled out some new washers and screws. And give it one last wipe down with the plastic polish, and there we go. I hope you found these tips helpful, and maybe you can restore a radio yourself. Coming up next, what's in this big box? A few weeks ago, I mentioned during my Sentinel restoration video that one of my YouTube friends, Daniel, gave me a link to an eBay auction. Well, I won that auction, and the box just arrived today. So shortly, I'm going to pop this box open and see what's inside.